We pay billions of dollars every year to watch these human beings perform feats of extreme physical discipline. We treat professional athletes as symbols of dedication and self-control. But there is a glaring anomaly in this system: the frequency of elite competitors committing violent, horrifying crimes. Take Aaron Hernandez. He had a $40 million contract with the New England Patriots, yet his life was defined by a gravitation toward violence that eventually culminated in a conviction for premeditated murder. The common instinct is to view people like Hernandez as isolated anomalies, a few bad apples who slip through the cracks. However, the arrest records across major leagues suggest these incidents are part of a broader, more recurring dataset that challenges that narrative. This is the disconnected reality. The exact traits required to dominate professional sports, aggression, physical dominance, and an appetite for destruction, can become lethal when they are deployed in civilian society without boundaries. To understand athlete criminality, we have to look past the individual headlines. We have to analyze these cases as the tragic, destructive misapplication of a professional specialized training. The sports ecosystem celebrates physical aggression. From childhood, elite competitors are taught that overwhelming physical force is the most effective tool for problem solving. When an athlete leaves the field, that reliance on force often lacks an off switch. Historically, this has resulted in catastrophic domestic violence. Carlos Monzon was a legendary boxing champion and a national hero, but his private life was defined by a volcanic temper that ended when he strangled his wife and threw her from a balcony. We see this same dynamic in the modern era. The Ray Rice incident provided a chilling illustration of how cultures of hypermasculinity and physical dominance can boil over into private, intimate partner brutality. When an institution rewards a person for physically breaking their opponents, it inevitably lowers that individual's threshold for private aggression. Without active psychological boundaries, the field of play simply expands into the home. There is a common assumption that financial security prevents criminal behavior. But for many athletes, immense wealth actually acts as a direct accelerator for violence. This influx of capital is often used to purchase illegal firearms or fund gang retaliations. Javaris Crittenton was a first-round NBA draft pick, yet he used his resources to maintain gang ties, eventually firing an assault rifle in a shooting that killed an innocent mother. Wealth is also weaponized after a crime to orchestrate cover-ups. When former NBA star Jason Williams fatally shot his limousine driver, he immediately urged his guests to lie, attempting to plant the victim's fingerprints on the weapon to make it appear as a suicide. This behavior is enabled by the all-star exception, a practice where teams and leagues actively delay justice or minimize discipline to keep their most valuable financial assets on the field. The combination of unlimited wealth and institutional protection creates an environment where athletes feel fundamentally untouchable by standard laws. When the illusion of invincibility is complete, impulsive outbursts often evolve into structured, calculated predatory behavior. We are now seeing the emergence of human trafficking and serial grooming within high-level athletics. Former NFL player Eric Johnson was recently indicted for allegedly leading a violent gang operation involved in the sex trafficking of women and a minor. Similarly, the case of Wander Franco demonstrates how systemic exploitation of the vulnerable can reach the absolute highest tiers of modern professional sports. Unchecked power and a lack of accountability graduate from individual physical outbursts to the organized, systemic exploitation of vulnerable populations. But the shield of stardom is finally fracturing. We are moving past the era where the all-star exception could guarantee a player's safety from prosecution. Digital surveillance is the first catalyst. Proliferating cameras now provide unforgiving evidence that overrules celebrity influence and forces league action when PR spin fails. In Spain, video evidence from a nightclub was used to directly dismantle the historical advantage of Dani Alves, leading to a conviction for rape under modernized consent laws. The second catalyst is a surge in transnational legal enforcement. Fleeing to a home country is no longer a guaranteed safe haven for athletes avoiding foreign sentences. Brazil's decision to enforce Robinho's Italian rape sentence is the ultimate proof of this new era of global judicial cooperation. This chart shows the historical frequency of permanent lifetime bans in professional sports. For decades, the line is almost flat. But in the modern era, with the rise of organizations like the U.S. Center for Safe Sport, the frequency of lifetime exclusions spikes upward. Zooming out, the scale becomes apparent. These ineligibility lists now contain hundreds of names, representing a coordinated institutional purge of predatory behavior that spans the entire industry. Athletic brilliance is no longer an accepted currency to purchase immunity. The era of the unreconcilable crime being dismissed as an off-field distraction is over. Professional sports is finally establishing a standard of accountability that stadium lights can no longer hide.